Welcome back to the Rogue Wave podcast. All right. This is a Batman world, and we're all just living in it. The big talk of DC FanDome, from what I read anyway, was the Batman trailer. Robert Pattinson. Hassan, give me your immediate reaction to what you saw.
Look, the imagery was very beautiful. But it's another Batman. So I mean, yeah. That was my initial reaction. It's like, all right, we're gonna do this again. I'm into it. I'm looking forward to seeing it. Now, to your question about hypotheticals, about a level of what engagement, whether of interest and stuff like that. If this was the Affleck Batman getting his own movie, I'd be 10 times more excited than I am. I have nothing against Robert Pattinson. I think he's going to do a good job, a great job. In spite of whatever those overabundant rumors are about whether or not he and the director actually like each other and blah blah blah, whatever. I think it's nonsense. I think he looks good in the role. I think but I mean, look, it's another Batman. I heard someone else say, and I'm going to say this incorrectly. I'm going to have to paraphrase it. The more and more reboots you do, the more you dilute and ruin all the other iterations that came before it, right? Because it's just constantly being repositioned and reimagined. And so whereas I am excited to see the Batman movie in general, as you said, I'm more excited about seeing Aquaman and the Flash, because those guys haven't had as much saturation as Batman has, So, like, I'm sure the movie is going to be good, but at this point, what new exciting thing could we possibly be seeing from Batman at this point?
Yeah, I agree with that. I actually got a more of a Burton feel when I was watching it. It felt a little bit more like this could exist in the Tim Burton world than the Christopher Nolan one, even though it had a lot of elements from Christopher Nolan, the grittiness, the toughness, the dirt, the grime. It seemed like it was an amalgam of the two. But that's an interesting point you make, though, right? The reboot syndrome, right? Now, obviously, DC's explaining this with the multiverse, which I like as a concept, right? Because it unifies in both the Marvel universe and the DC universe. It unifies iterations that came before, right? In a story method. Say what you will about the execution of it. I'm not, we don't know yet, but at least it gives us this. How can all these Batmen exist in all these universes, right? Same with Spider-Man. There's Tobey Maguire, there's Andrew Garfield, now there's this. So at least it gives you, if you've been doing this as long as we have with 20 years of watching this stuff, it gives us an explanation to it. That being said, it's amazing to me how the movie business, after Kevin Feige finally figured out how to do it, how to take what we've already experienced in comics, and I don't just mean the actual storylines, but how continuity works and how an interconnected universe works, brought it over to movies, and have now gotten moviegoers, educated in the same way we as comic book readers were educated. And now, because we're so far into this now, 20 years later, maybe even more if you count Tim Burton's Batman, we're almost 40, no, not 40, almost 32 years old.
1989 was Tim Burton's Batman.
No, I know. So I was thinking like 32. So we're almost we're over 30 years into
not almost
into this. No, yeah, we are over. We're over 32 years into this. How we've been able to now,
and that's not you counting Superman.
That's a good point. It's a very good point. Now we are absolutely over 40 years into this. But I would sit there and say
1978.
Superman to me exists. Look, in actual time, yes, I agree with you. It's over 40 years ago. But the concept of superhero movies, I almost kind of group the original Superman and the original Batman kind of in one group. And then in the 2000s, I think to me is like the second. It's almost like Superman and Batman were the golden age of comic book movies. You have the 2000s with X-Men and Blade and Spider-Man is the Silver Age, and now we're in the modern age with what Marvel has been able to pull off and DC has been trying to ape the whole time.
Yeah.
And it's just funny watching. Now people are talking about again, and you just said it's a great point though, diluting what has come before. And it's like, yeah, it's exactly what happens. Exactly what happens when you kill the X-Men 5 times over right before you're about to relaunch them in Hickman's run. It negates the runs that Colin Bunn did and Matthew Rosenberg did, just to use an example in recent times. When you're going to reboot Spider-Man a million times, it's going to negate, the great work that David Michelini did and with Mark Bagley and Todd McFarlane and all those stuff. I mean, it's going to dilute. It's always looking for the next fan because that is what this movie is representing, right? This is for the next generation of kids that, were very young when Christopher Nolan's Batman movies came out. I mean, it'll be over 10 years since the last one. So it's not as if, time hasn't passed in between, although you had Ben Affleck in between, but he didn't get his own solo movie. So yeah, I think it's a great point. I think it is. What was your money shot? What was the one part of this trailer that did get you kind of, hyped up or made you walk away?
That's kind of what my point is. Like nothing really. Like, yeah, I mean, I'm not saying it was completely unexciting, but it was nothing I looked at and went, "Wow, I've never seen that in a Batman. That looks amazing. I can't wait to see how that all fits into whatever the storyline is. So that's what I mean. That's why I'm taking this position. I don't hate it. I'm not against it whatsoever. I'm not even against the kids. The kids, who were too young to see the older movies, for them to have their own Batman. That's fine. I mean, time passes us by. It's not enough to excite us, but it's certainly enough to excite the kids. Yeah. Fine with me.
Steve Ovecki just said the upside down walk. That was actually my money shot. There's a lot of times when that last scene in a trailer, it just doesn't hit, it doesn't drop. But this one did. That was the one scene I thought was pretty cool. I enjoyed my immediate reaction when I thank you for asking. My immediate reaction.
I was in the middle of explaining, but okay. you go ahead. You elaborate now.
I will.
I'll listen.
I will.
I'll happily not say anything else because I'm not talking.
The opening of it, I was actually kind of excited. Like all of a sudden, it kind of gave me a little goosebumps. By the middle of it, I agree with you though, where I was like, this is exactly what I was afraid of. I've seen this all before. I kind of, there was enough elements of Nolan and enough elements of Burton where I was like, I kind of seen this before. And then by the end, I was like, all right, that's still pretty damn cool. That still is kind of like Batman.
Well, yeah, okay, but I mean, he walked upside down, and you got all weepy, right? So obviously, that's your big thing. You're gonna go see it now, right?
Oh yeah,
it's your big, All right, excellent. Well, that's good.
What was your cringeworthy moment or moments?
I'm trying to tell you, like, all right, I understand that this is a segment, this is a piece, and I'm not trying to fight it, but I'm trying to tell you. The whole thing just came out as a blank to me. Okay. Like you talk about the Flash, like the Flash didn't have any sizzle, to it by any stretch of the imagination. But I mean, there was intrigue in like, okay, what are they trying to, what's the story? Like, what are they trying to say? Whatever. And Mike Keaton's voice, blah, blah, blah. Same with Aquaman. It's like, all right, there's not a lot of the movie here, but like, you get to hear about Momoa's passion for it, and the director's really excited for it, and they show you one or two sequences, and you're like, oh, all right, these guys, this is not fly by night. These guys are invested. So the Batman thing, I mean, it looks good, but I've been hearing about it for almost 2 years, and then I'm seeing him swing on a vine and beat a whole bunch of people up and scream. All right, that's new. Okay, Batman screaming, so that's new, and I'm like, okay, sure, but. As I said, It's Batman again. The imagery is even the same.
Yeah.
It's even in the same lighting. It's even got the same color palette, with
Mm-hmm.
the exception of Joel Schumacher. They've all had the same color
Sure.
palette. They've all so it just kind of just faded into the scenery for me.
Was this more of a more or less of a reaction than I know you mentioned it with Flash, but you would actually put the Flash trailer ahead of this trailer then?
No, I think it's a better trailer, and I think it's probably going to be a more interesting movie. I'm probably more interested to see it than the Flash. But I'm saying, as far as the material that they showed me that day,
Mm-hmm.
I watched all the materials, and the stuff that stood out to me were things I had not seen before.
Yeah.
And that is not anything in a Batman trailer.
Yeah.
It just isn't. Now, I'm a huge fan of the Ben Affleck Batman,
I am too.
ironically. So if he had been in that trailer,
Yeah.
the my answer to you would have been, I'm just so happy Ben Affleck's gonna, is that Batman's gonna get his entire run.
Yeah.
Is gonna get some, and that's probably not gonna happen. I don't have anything against Pattinson. I think he's gonna do a great job. But all right. But I've already been burned by Batman, though.
Mm-hmm.
Because the previous three Batman, I am one of the very few, the vocal minority that did not like those movies.
Yeah.
So, is what it is.
Felt like Affleck got cheated, huh? I mean, this was supposed to be his movie, right? It was that was supposed to be him. He was supposed to write and direct, and
Yeah, but I mean, it fell through. It didn't work out.
I know.
So I mean, that's to be expected. It's too bad. But I mean, he's not. I mean, he's fine. Affleck's still a millionaire, so like it doesn't really. He's not destroyed,
No,
and he got his kind of.
Dating Jennifer Lopez
They
is
all
good.
they all got it their kind of day with the Snyder Cut. The reimagining of Snyder Cut.
Sure.
For a very short time, there was some, reinforced buzz about like reigniting the Snyderverse and all those characters. So, I mean, that he could probably ride that for a little while, even if he doesn't get a full movie on his own.
What would it take? And you might not have an answer to this, as I'm, just curious. What would it take in a Batman trailer, like, where you would stop and say, "Oh wow, okay, this is something"? Because at this point, I don't know what else they could do at this point, right? Unless they revisit the Adam West, Bat-2C. From a visual standpoint, from a story standpoint, is there anything you can think of where it would move you more than what you just saw in this trailer?
From this standpoint, I would just be appreciative of consistency.
Okay.
Right. You got Heath Ledger's Joker, and then you got what's his name's Joker from Suicide Squad,
Mm-hmm.
and then you got Joaquin Phoenix's Joker, and now you got another Batman. You got the Affleck Batman, and you got the Nolan Batman, and you got the Michael Keaton Batman, who apparently is still in play somehow. Like, right? So, like, if you would just give me a Batman that you're going to stick with for the next few years,
Yeah.
and that you're going to tell a full-fledged story, and imagine some of those comic book stories like, Death in the Family,
Mm-hmm.
or the Court of Owls, like some real substantial Batman lore, as opposed to flirting with the Dark Knight Returns over and over and over again, that imagery,
Mm-hmm.
which seems to be the only imagery that anybody is interested in adapting.
Sure.
For some reason, then yeah, I would be excited. I'd be excited to see a Batman. Like, I would be excited to see the Bat family, like the complex dynamic, between Dick Grayson and Bruce Wayne and Barbara Gordon, that kind of situation.
Sure.
This stuff where the guy's flipping off of roofs and, like, the batarang over a steeple and flying through the air and, playing music and everybody go, oh, all right, yeah. That seems like Batman. That's Batman fair, but that's not exciting to me.
Yeah.
That's like watching Superman, like,
Fly.
that's like watching people, empty a gun into Superman and he's standing there like smiling at you, while you're wasting all your ammunition. It's cool because it's indicative or it's resonant of imagery that we grew up with.
Mm-hmm.
It's not telling me anything. It's not a
Yeah.
story. It's not moving. So no, you know, I would be more excited about if they were doing a Batman TV show. I'd be more excited if they were doing a Batman TV show that they insisted was going to adapt some of their greatest stories on Batman, right? And then it started out, with a really faithful adaptation
Yeah.
of some of these other storylines. I would be more excited for that because I mean, Batman, the imagery of Batman doesn't. When you get over that very quickly, it's the story, the dynamic of the relationships between the characters. That's what's more interesting,
Yeah,
right?
I would say though you do get, because I did get very like I said, I got the goosebumps a little bit when you get that initial, cape flying in the wind kind of thing. I mean, it's almost like, as an artist, like what would you draw when you were doodling in a notebook in class? It's always like I don't know. I always just draw the cape and like the swinging the, because there's like just a coolness about that. But I do agree, it wears off. At
The
some
rule
point.
of cool, though, that's what everybody's using. The rule. I'm not even. I've not seen the movie. I can't disparage it. I can't talk
No,
about
I
like
know.
good things or bad things about the movie. I'm only talking about the trailer.
Yeah.
As pertains to the rule of cool, the trailer hits all the right notes. Right.
Yeah.
Everything in it looked really cool. But I don't know. Are they making the movie with the rule of cool, or is there a story behind it? Is there substance behind it? This could be, and I stand,
Oh
I
yeah,
stand
yeah. We
ready to
don't
admit
know.
this. This could be the greatest Batman they've ever made. I
Yeah.
could go, as far as I'm concerned, at least, I could go in that theater and go, "Oh my god, I the heck with every other Batman that came before it. It's gone. This is the thing.
Yeah.
This is the thing,
Yeah.
and we have to make at least 5 more of these before before Pattinson decides he's not interested in
Sure.
doing it anymore, right? But like, look, as pertains to a trailer, all right, looks like Batman. Let's see what happens.
All right.
Hoorah!
Just real quick, my cringeworthy moment was Bruce Wayne's hair. Still don't like it. Not happy with that. And the thing that made me go was very weird to have the Riddler kind of like foreshadowed and then never get back to him in the trailer. Just have that question in the cup, and then at no point do they gonna kind of go back to it. I like the Zoe Kravitz as Catwoman, kind of like.
It's just a trailer, though. Like I never understand what people are expecting when they see a trailer. Like, wow, how come they didn't go back? It's not like you watched the entire movie and they hinted the Riddler in Act 1, and by Act 3 in the credits roll, and you're like, hey, what happened to the Riddler?
It's odd to do it at the beginning of the trailer. That's why. To do that so that's the thing. Do that as the money shot, right? Reverse the two and end with the Riddler, and it leaves you with, oh, all right, I kind of see. All right, now you got me intrigued. It
And you'd
starts
be
out
like,
with it,
oh,
and I'm
why
like,
would
all
they
right,
show me
intrigued,
the
and I'm
why
like,
would
all
they
right.
show me the Riddler at the end of the and they didn't show me anything in the trailer? Like, that's not fair. That's the next thing that you would say. That's the reverse of what you would say if they had done it your way.
No,
Then you'd be like, man, I really wish there was more Riddler in the trailer because they only tease him at the very end. A tease is going to be a tease no matter where it comes.
it's a money shot though. At the end, it becomes like the coup de resistance.
No. If it's just a tease, it's just a tease. The money shot can't be a tease. That's not how those things work.
It
So if
was.
they did the exact,
It would have been. I'm just saying, if they reverse the two, it's fine. It just, when you start off, you think you're going to get more about the subject that they're doing. They show Catwoman repeatedly, right? Zoe Kravitz looks great. I think just from a visual standpoint, I'm kind of interested in her character a little bit. But that being said, I'm not, nothing that I saw made me, didn't move the needle more than just, look at that. That's nice. She looks the part. We'll see where it goes. But to start out the trailer with the question mark and then to not, bring it in, I don't know. Even for a trailer, that's just poor. That's poor execution. And and made me go,
Obviously not, because it's the biggest trailer of the last like 6 or 7 months. So, it won fandom, or FanDome.
Is
So
that well, yeah, but it's also a comparative thing, right? I mean, what other trailers are out? What other characters? What other characters bigger than Batman? I mean, I think just having the characters Batman's
we
gonna
don't
be.
have the metrics of that though. We have the metrics for this particular trailer, and it beat out all the other trailers, and it had generated buzz for at least 3 solid days. So it was interactively viable for
Sure.
actually, that long. So obviously it was a hit, by the metrics that we have.
Doesn't
Not the hypothetical could have been.
doesn't mean that
It
they
is what it is.
follow the right formula though. That's all.
Well, like, how do you measure success?
We'll see how the movie is, but in terms
No,
of a
no, no. I mean, we're
trailer,
just talking about the trailer. How would you measure success? How is it wrong if it was successful?
it's wrong because I can still critique it as a piece of art, even if it's just 2 minutes long.
If you didn't like it, that makes perfect sense. But you said it was wrong. You said they shouldn't have done that. So
Yeah, I
I'm
agree
just
with that.
saying,
Yeah.
like, but if it was a successful trailer that
It was a
trended and
successful
got them
trailer
the buzz that they wanted,
in spite of
how do you know that though?
the glaring error that they made. Because that's my opinion. Why would I?
Oh, that's different. That's very different. Okay, I understand what you're saying now. That's how you feel.
Yeah.
It's not really how it is. That's just how you
Well,
feel
it's,
about
it
it.
still doesn't follow a good formula. I mean, there's no question about that.
But trailers are
Trailers have formulas
formulaic.
too.
No, there can be formulas to trailers, but then trailers have been proven to be sort of a formulaic. They're very fluid.
Trailers are also, I mean, at the end of the day, meaningless, right? I mean, unless it's something that
But what was
doesn't.
this segment about?
Because we got Batman in a costume. I'm just saying it's meaningless in terms of what the overall outcome of the film is going to end up being, right? I mean, you can have a great trailer and the film could be trash, right? You can have the worst trailer you've
True.
ever seen, and then people go see the movie and then they talk about it and go, "You got to see."
Best
the movie.
trailer I ever seen was to one of the worst movies I've ever seen. So yeah,
Which one?
the trailer for Pearl Harbor.
Oh yeah, terrible film.
For
Terrible.
Michael Bay's Pearl Harbor. But that trailer is amazing. Look that trailer up on YouTube. It's an amazing trailer.
Oh yeah,
Absolutely amazing trailer.
yeah, yeah.
All right, terrible movie.
What do you guys think? Let us know in the comments. We will continue commenting along. We've got Rob Multari, a up-and-coming Kickstarter creator. He's got a new book called Snowpaw coming up next. We're going to dive into it. What makes a successful Kickstarter? What makes werewolves cool? Werewolves are just awesomely cool. If you are interested in a fantasy book meets werewolf adventure with beautiful art, you definitely want to check out the interview we've got coming up next.